Today on Action RC, I bring to you Richard Verano. This is his pilot interview. Get ready. Let's here we go. What was your first experience with model airplanes?
Okay, so my dad was in the U.S. Army stationed in the Philippines, and every time we went to the base, there's a group of military guys flying U-control. And, you know, I would watch them, and man, that always intrigued me and see how those things actually flew. That was in the late 60s. My dad retired in the 70s. and 71, he decided we're going to go migrate here in the United States. And the first thing I did was, when I got here, is look for, you know, model airplane clubs and all that. And so that's basically how I got into it, is the interest when I was a young kid, watching those guys fly. Anyway, we moved to Southern California. That's where we migrated. There is a very big club called the Birds Club, and the way I got involved is, you know, I was 11 years old when I moved here in the United States, and around 13, 14 years old, I started you know, looking around for clubs where they fly these model airplanes, and there's one in Carson, California, which is the Birds, and I rode my bike over there, and man, I just became friends with all the pilots. What I did was, every weekend I would ride my bike there, and when those guys landed their airplanes, I would go run and pick it up and bring it back to them. And, you know, I couldn't afford it. So guess that's how I got involved with all these guys. And when I was ready to do it, almost every one of those guys really helped me. You know, I was able to buy my first airplane, which is a Falcon 56, and I built it. Unfortunately, it never flew. You know, when we started the engine, the stabs started falling apart, and all these guys that at the club were all handing me stuff. I said, Richard, man, here, you take this, you go build it, and we'll help you test fly. Anyway, so with the Falcon 56 not flying, I ended up with a Joe Breedy Trainer 60, and I built it, and it flew. And Joe Zingali of Zinger Propeller, the producer of the propellers, was the one that really helped me out to fly. He taught me everything as far as taking off, landing, and all that, and so it was great.
So Richard, tell us about how you got into competition. Okay. And when did that start for you?
Okay, so in the mid 70s, yeah, I was in high school, junior in high school, and I could not get enough of this RC. I finally learned how to fly and land. And one thing I did was, I'll never miss a magazine issues. And that's how I followed everything. The competition part, and pylon racing, and pattern, and everything. Anything to do with competition, man, I would read them. And I told myself, you know, one day, I'll have one of those airplanes and compete. So, 1977, it just so happened the Nationals was 2 hours away from home. It was at Riverside. So that 1977 Riverside Nats. And I had to enter it. I just basically started flying aerobatics and all that. So a friend of mine, Kent McKenna, and myself, we decided to enter. And it was like a dream, being around these guys, heroes that we only read about in the magazine. They have the pilots meeting for that competition, and Phil Craft, all these guys that you read about in the magazine were there in the same room I was. So it was a dream. And anyway, I entered the novice pattern, and I probably finished about, you know, 20th out of 50th, which is, you know, that was really good for me. for being the first time, and started competing locally. And in '85, I was hired by Futaba to start working for them, and that's when the competition really got serious. Futaba was sending me all over the country to compete, and financially they helped me, so I was very happy. And so every year I would go to the U.S. National, and that's when I started, I guess, doing okay.
Richard, tell me about your accomplishments in the competition world and how it's gotten you to this point right now.
Okay. So at the U.S. Nationals in 1989, that was in Washington, I entered a couple events, which is Formula One and Quickie, and I ended up winning them. So that was the
was that like the stepping stone of like getting to the top notch?
Yeah. When you start winning the nationals, that's when
you got a lot of
you're competing against the best in the country. So it started in '89 when I won my first two nationals. In 1990, I think that's the only year I didn't win. I came in second in Formula One, but from 1989 up to 1998, I won a national event each year. Total of 17 times.
Wow.
U.S. Pylon champion.
So that put you on the map for sure.
That's when I started getting people say, no, okay, Richard, it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
I guess. And 1993, I made the U.S. Pylon team. We competed in Austria, and that was one of my highlights, one of my best accomplishments, I believe, winning the World Championships. The second one was in 1997, where I entered 4 events and luckily won every single one of them.
Wow.
So I won Quickie, Quarter Midget, Formula One, and FAI in the same year.
Wow.
And year after that, I entered 3 events. I won 2 out of 3, so that's the 17-time U.S. national champion in Pylon.
How did you get into jets?
So, I stayed away from jets for a long time because, man, I didn't want to spend that kind of money. So, about 6-7 years ago, a local guy in northern Nevada, Gardnerville, Nevada, built a Skymaster. What's that? The Skymaster. Man, I forgot the name of that thing. Cougar. So I bought it and flew it, and I'm hooked. Now you got to have the biggest and the baddest one out there. So that's now I'm flying a BVM F-16 1/5 and Tomahawk Futura.
As of right now, the jets have been your most favorite plane to fly as of right now?
That is correct, yes.
That is?
Yes.
And how often throughout the year are you traveling to go fly at events like Best of the West?
Well, I try to not. This is my favorite event right here, so I'm here. This year we're here for a whole week. My wife really supports me on this thing, so she takes a whole week's vacation, and we leave Sunday and then go home the following Sunday.
What was your worst plane crash of a favorite plane that you loved? Because everybody crashes.
Oh yeah.
Tell us. Tell us the one that sticks out in your mind.
Yeah. You know what? Unfortunately, it's a BVM 1/5 F-16, and something went wrong with the smoke system, which created some type of an explosion, and unfortunately, it burned it down completely, and there's nothing left.
And what has been your most favorite jet?
Well, it's that same 1/5 BVM F-16. So I have another one. Bought another one, just like the first one that crashed, or the one that crashed.
Richard, currently, who are you sponsored with?
Yeah, I'm sponsored by JR Propo and also BVM Jets. I've been with JR for 24 years and about five years with BVM.
Richard, thanks for spending a few minutes with us on Action RC today and telling us your story. And we will be looking forward to seeing all your flights coming up and everything I got of you here at Best of the West.
Great. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You are welcome.
Okay.